Welcome back to WagerTalk TV. It is the KBO betting show. My name is Andrew McInnis, joined by Dave Cokin, and red hot Dave Cokin right now, just absolutely rolling in the KBO. 11-1-1 record now with the best bets. Dave is the featured $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk.com. And Dave, I'll let you take it over from there. Congratulations on your run.
It was a pretty comfortable win last night. There was some early inning left on base situations, which managed to wiggle out of those, and then it was fairly easy from that point on. So KT and LG was the play, under 10. And it was, KT and LG, under 10. And 4-3 final in 10. So that worked out pretty well. Might have been 11 innings, actually, a walk-off home run in the game. And look to keep it going tonight. It's been good.
Great call with that. And, I mentioned yesterday on the show that you said it as well, and a couple of people on Twitter were saying it, that we were going to see some regression with the high-scoring games, and it was going to kind of settle in a little bit, and that's certainly what we saw yesterday. How about that Kiwoom game, Dave? I mean, Doosan continues that they're rolling as well. I mean, those are the 2 and the 3 seed, but the Doosan over record continues, except for this time it wasn't them doing the scoring; it was Kiwoom.
Yeah, their bullpen, the Doosan bullpen, again, was just disastrous. Their pitching just isn't very good. They're 7th in the league in starting pitching, and they're 8th in bullpens. That's not going to get it done.
So I ended up releasing a 5% play yesterday on the NC Dinos. That is a loss for me. It's tough because I've won 6 out of my last 7 wagers, and running pretty hot the past 2 weeks. But that one does not come through for me. Lotte puts up 10 runs. They had a few 2 or 3 run shots out of the park, so I can't be too upset with that. They actually had, Dave, 11 pitchers through 11 innings, and they didn't do too bad either. And Wright didn't look bad for the Dinos. It was more so just the relief guys that came in, and I think we talked about their bullpen, and Freddie Mills has been talking about that as well.
Dinos also got an injury last night. Their leadoff hitter turned his ankle. I have no idea whether he'll be good to go tonight, but I would suspect he's not going to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked your under as well, but I ended up rolling with the SK Wyverns and Samsung Lions game under, and good chance I'll be taking a look at a few unders here tomorrow morning as well. Quick little hello to Zach Davis, Mattia, Dustin, Matt, Daniel, Mike, Jake, all the guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys checking it out and joining us here this afternoon for the KBO betting show. We're going to start in rotation order as usual. Hanwha Eagles, Kia Tigers. We kind of discussed this matchup, Dave, but I'll throw it to you just for some thoughts and just to kind of overview what you said. I do believe I remember one thing you said is about the price that we're seeing with this team, the Kia Tigers. It's a little steep.
Well, it's a little steep because they're playing the Eagles, who continue to be horrendous. And the pitching matchup is the same as it was scheduled to be yesterday, so no change, really. It's a game Kia should win. Obviously, upsets can happen, but on paper, it's certainly a game that Kia figures to be on top in.
So I was looking towards the under yesterday in this game, and I'm going to continue to look that way. Obviously, not really too much change. So just to kind of reiterate my thoughts, Jiang Shai Huan coming off one of his best outings of the year. Against Samsung, obviously not too powerful of a hitting team, but they've still looked pretty strong. And Im has been pretty quality. Past 3 games, no matter really what caliber of team he's played against, he's been able to keep it together. My favorite thing about him is something that Dave mentions quite often. He doesn't walk too many batters, Dave. No. He really challenges the batters. And I actually was just having coffee with my father, and he used to play pretty competitive hardball, and he was telling me, those are the guys you want to look at, the guys that are not going to make it easy and are not going to load the bases, just easily. At least if you're going to get hit when you're challenging the batters, and that's a guy that I definitely like to back. So, more of a total spot for me. I wouldn't even put Kia in a parlay just because the odds aren't too good. And I don't even like the -1 or -1.5. I just don't think I'm getting a good enough number on it.
No, I've been avoiding those. And Im has got some really good numbers. I mean, his FIP is under 3. And considering that we're already about a third of the way through the season, that's a really good metric. So he figures to limit Hanwha tonight.
Once again, guys, Dave Cokin is the $2 Tuesday handicapper at WagerTalk.com. Extraordinary run, Dave. Happy for you. 11-1-1 run. Best bet run, I should mention, right, Dave? Best bet run. Just the one play a day still, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I haven't played more than one game in quite some time. I'm just trying to isolate the strongest game on my numbers and fire on that.
Okay.
And that's what I did today. I've only got one play.
Okay. Doosan Bears, Kiwoom Heroes. We're seeing it around a minus 150 spot here for the Kiwoom Heroes. Let's get my notebook over here. Look, this is the way I was looking at was the first five for Kiwoom or a possible shot out with the under. But here's the problem. Doosan, they've been scoring so hard at home or on the road. Part of me worries now that they're going to put that performance up and then end up, turning it around today and looking great. But Lee has not been good at all.
Oh boy, has he not been good?
6.29 ERA. But I noticed as well, Dave, he's not lasting long into games.
No.
He only looks strong against a weak team. I believe it was SK. And hits given up, it's 8, 9, and then 14 against NC. Not really too impressive.
His last three starts, he's managed 14 2/3 innings, and he's given up 31 hits and 18 runs in that stretch. So this is a guy in bad form, to put it mildly. He's going against Hans got his base numbers aren't all that good, but if you look a little deeper and get to the peripherals, they're not bad at all. So I completely agree with the line going up here. The Heroes are a hot baseball team right now. This line's jumped a quarter, open $1.30, it's now $1.55, and you won't see me on the underdog in this one.
No, I would definitely agree. And I do like Han as well. So like I said, I circled things here and I took a look at the first 5 innings for Kiwoom, and you can get minus 135 right now on the money line with this team, first 5 innings. And I do like this matchup here as far as recent form goes as well. SK Wyverns, Samsung Lions. Here's a spot I texted you before the show. I've probably the majority of under tickets I've cashed on the season, a lot of them anyway, have involved the Samsung Lions. A great bullpen, second best bullpen in the league. Some pretty good consistent starters. Nothing crazy good, but some consistent starters. We got Buchanan coming off a game, though, where he got banged up against the Hanwha Eagles, Dave.
Yeah, and look, he's going against a pretty good pitcher here. Moon's been very good for the Wyverns. It kind of gets lost because, the team just they don't get him any runs, and so he's struggling along at 2 and 3. But his last 35 innings, his last 5 starts, I should say, 37 1/3, I believe it is, 17 hits and 5 runs with a fabulous walk-to-strikeout ratio. So he is pitching good ball. I think the pitching edge is on the Wyverns here. So if you want to take a gamble, well, it's probably too late now because the market really crashed on this one. This game opened 175. It's been bet all the way down to 125. There's a lot of money on the dog in this game, despite their ugly record. And Buchanan coming off a very poor start. Now, it should be noted, however, 6 innings of 4-hit shutout ball in his earlier effort against the Wyverns. So this is a team he should have a lot of confidence against. And coming off a bad game, I think he probably bounces back with a good one here. Total's down to 8.5 that I've mentioned before. I don't like playing 8.5s, even if I like the game under. It was 9.5. So
yeah, first 5 down to 4.5 now.
Yeah, there's a lot of money on the dog and the under in this game. And my way of thinking is you kind of missed the boat. If you wanted to take a shot with the upset and the under, that boat has sailed already.
How about this look here, Dave? You're laying a little bit of a number here, but some might argue with me saying, why not just take the money line, Andrew? I'm a big fan of taking plus a half's first 5. Not obviously, that what depends on the sport, what you're doing, but I think Moon's the stronger pitcher. At least he's been outstanding. He's coming off back-to-back shutouts. Nothing really tells me right now he's going to stop that. For minus 140, I can get Moon and the SK Wyverns plus a half run first 5 innings. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not. I just am not playing any side as far as the Wyverns are concerned. They're right there with the Eagles. They're only 2 games ahead of them. Their offense is terrible. I just when I come up with the Wyverns as a side, it's like, okay, well, I'll just skip it. The one loss in this 11-1-1 was a game where I decided to try the Wyverns. And they led for a while. I think the first 5 might have cashed in that game. and then they get clobbered at the end and lost 9-3, I believe it was. So there are better options for me. But I don't like
that he grabbed SK early plus 1.5. Well, it's definitely good you grabbed it early.
Yeah,
and might be a smart opportunity to grab plus 1.5 here because Samsung. You mentioned that SK is right down there with Hanwha, Dave. Obviously, I think Samsung's a pretty good team, but they're still not blowing teams out. I mean,
no,
you've said to me before. You said to me before though when I brought up some stats and brought up runs that it was late in the game. Samsung's last 2 runs weren't really a part of the game.
No,
this morning.
This is actually a game where if you bet the Wyverns early, you could go the middle route here because you might have gotten plus 155 if you bet it early, and now you could lay minus 125 on the other side. Can't lose, and you might be able to pick up a nice little profit.
Yeah. Just a reminder, guys, be sure to hit the like button on this video. We're getting a lot of people tuning in. We appreciate you guys commenting. While you're here, hit the like button. Let us know you're enjoying it. Just like the WagerTalk crew is saying right there. And the chat box put that right on the screen for everybody to be reminded. KT Wiz taking on the LG Twins. Well, speaking of that game, that was an under game for you, Dave. Now, we look at the matchups for this one. Cha versus Bay. I wanted to get your thoughts on Bay's coming off a pretty solid outing against a pretty solid NC Dinos team. And like I've mentioned before on the show, I take that very, very much into account. Who people are playing good against, who they're not playing well against. And, that's kind of why I mentioned that in our last game that we were breaking down about how Buchanan gave up a lot of runs against a bad team. And, now we're seeing a team like a guy like Bay coming off a game against NC and look pretty strong.
Yeah, it's an okay matchup, but I don't think I don't trust either one of these pitchers, to be honest with you. Bay has got pretty bad metrics. I mean, the FIP is well over 5, which is kind of disturbing. And Wilson has just not been he's been okay, but that's all he's been. I mean, he's sitting 3-3. He's been, I'd say, decent in 6 of his 9 starts, but he's certainly not blowing guys away. And, the walks to strikeouts aren't particularly impressive. He's been giving up plenty of hits. I don't disagree with the fact that this number has gone up from 9.5 to 10. I think I think you can make a case for the over in this game. The Wiz have a good offense. Got shut down last night, obviously. But they had a lot of chances, just didn't take advantage of them. And the Twins, well, their offense remains compromised because of the injury situation. So that's really the only thing that's prevented me from taking a shot on the over on this game. I'm not really enamored with either pitcher. But with the injury situation on LG, they're playing more low-scoring games right now. So I thought it was best to keep this one on the sidelines.
Yeah, I don't think that the LG Twins are going to just get red hot by any means. They've strung together a few quality outings, but let's not forget they had a couple bad ones in a row as well. Huh. And you mentioned KT's offense is good. KT can score when they're hitting. When they're making contact, they can hit the ball deep. They have a pretty deep lineup. So looking at this one, if Cha goes out there and has a stinker, I could easily see KT running the score up on a team that we haven't seen been putting up a lot of runs.
Yeah, could happen.
At an even number, plus 100.
My strategy on LG is to wait till they get healthy. I think this is a pretty good team when they've got their guys on the field, but with a third of the lineup out, this is not the time that I want to be backing them. They might win, okay, but they're going to be tight games. I don't think you're going to see too many blowouts with LG.
Mm-hmm. We got Lydell here saying, "Love the show, guys. KBO is going to give us all a heart attack." Well, I'll tell you, some of the infield play that we see is, if anything, going to give me a heart attack. Horrible. That's probably what it would be. Some of these plays that even the outfield, the miscommunication. Usually that MLB, that's just, yep, they know exactly whose ball is who. KBO, it's, somebody's ball might not be their ball and someone else is going to take it. So I'd agree with that, Lydell, but we're enjoying it and we're having fun handicapping this league.
Name me a sport where it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was easy, books would all be out of business. They're not. So not giving me any heart attacks. For whatever reason, I've been winning games by comfortable margins and haven't had to sweat much. So would love to see that continue.
Definitely. I'd love to see it continue for you as well. Lotte Giants, NC Dinos. I mentioned on the show yesterday with you that this is probably the best number I was going to get with the NC Dinos during this series on the run line with Mike Wright on the mound. And now we're seeing Koo on the mound, a 6-0 pitcher, a guy that's looked outstanding, best pitcher in the league. And, I had to lay a minus 2.5 at $1.10 earlier today. I decided to grab that. Right now, I mean, even the run line is over $2. It's at minus, I think, minus 210, I believe. And, rightfully so. However, I'm not the kind of guy, Dave, that's going to sit here and complain and, for lack of better words, bitch about something that happened to me. This is a Lotte team that came to life. The fact of the matter is, though, will they be able to do it back-to-back games?
Probably not.
No.
Which is why the price is where it is. It's a pitching mismatch. The Giants decided to save Straley for tomorrow, which is probably a smart move.
They just write out this game, Dave? They're just like, we'll write it off.
Yeah, they kind of are because they're strapped for a starting pitcher. So it's going to be a bullpen. It's going to be a 9-inning bullpen game. Maybe 2 or 3 tops out of the starter. I think probably 2. And then they'll just throw guys out there, basically play matchup baseball the rest of the way. And you're getting Koo off his first bad start of the year. He wasn't very good last time out. You would think he'll probably bounce back here. And it also should be mentioned that Koo has not faced the Giants this year. So that's another advantage for him. The hitters have not had a look at him here. It does not figure to be a good game for the Giants. They got a win last night, so they're not going to get shut out in this series. In fact, I think you can argue they're going to have a real good chance, at least an opportunity to win this series because they'll have their best guy going tomorrow. But this does kind of look like a throwaway game for them, and I would expect Koo to be dominant coming off his first bad start of the year. He's going to be fired up after having, not a very good game last time out. He gave him 4 runs in that game. He gave up almost as many runs in that game as he'd given up in all the other starts combined. That's how good this guy's been. 59 innings, 33 hits with 12 walks and 65 strikeouts. Man, those are just phenomenal numbers. And he's going up against an offense that isn't very talented to begin with. So there's just no argument I can make for the upset here. Obviously it can happen, but I don't think it will. Unfortunately, the price is so prohibitive, there's really not a lot you can do unless you want to go alternate run line with the Dinos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good point as well, looking at Koo, how, when you say that, it's pretty crazy to think about. But, the outing he's coming off is his worst outing, but it's, a lot of pitchers in this league's average outing. So that says a lot about how good he is and how quality he really is. Dave, thoughts on the total in this one? I mean,
well, it's been bet down from 10 to 9.5, and I understand that. I kind of expected it. I was a little surprised to see the 10, to tell you the truth, because of the fact that Koo's in the mound. That's I didn't check, to be honest with you, but I'm quite sure that's the highest total on any game he's pitched this year. And the reason it was high was because of the starting pitcher situation for Lotte. But if this game's going over, might be the Dinos doing all the scoring in this game, and they could light up the scoreboard tonight. It's an awfully good offense, and they are facing some weak pitching. But I would think Lotte is going to have a lot of trouble scoring in this game for those who might be tilting toward the under.
Back-to-back games, we're seeing a 6.5 team total here for the NC Dinos. Both times it's been at plus 100. They cashed it for us this morning. And I looked the exact same way here. Again, this is what I've been mentioning, and the most of the time I've actually have been mentioning it, it's been when we've been seeing prices like this. Obviously, it's a great pitcher. It's Koo on the mound. We don't expect much out of Lotte, so you could go ahead there and grab the under. But I see a team that had, I think it was 2 different times, Dave, the bases loaded or 2 guys on. This is probably one of those games where, NC, I'd love to see the stats for how many times, how many people they left on base because they had no shortage of hits. They were getting on base, and just when they grab the lead, the next inning they go ahead and give up a 3-run shot, and it kind of ruins momentum for them. And it's hard to really gather any momentum as a an offense and try and crawl back into a game, especially to cover my run line. Not that they really care about that when your bullpen is so bad. I mean, their bullpen they looked like they were scared to go in the strike zone. They were pitching left, right, up high, down low. It was weird to watch.
It's the reason I think Kiwoom is the team to beat in this league. Is they've got a good bullpen, and I think that could be the difference come playoff time. The Dinos have the best starting pitching. they've got a 1-2-3 punch that's really
Yeah.
good, but they've got to score because you get to the 8th and 9th innings and their pen isn't good. I would not be surprised if this team tries to trade for a reliever. One of the weaker teams in the league that's out of it, and maybe get somebody to firm up late inning pitching, because that's really the only weakness the Dinos have.
Yeah, definitely. And, we talked about, I've mentioned a couple times about the stats where they're coming off a loss and scoring a low amount, but I wonder what it really is coming off a loss like this, where it's not even like they got blown out. And that's what was kind of the most frustrating thing to me, Dave, is because as somebody that was pretty high on their -1.5 bet, just if you would have told me yesterday, okay, you know what, Andrew, we're going to see 8 runs out of the NC Dinos, I would have said, Dave, sign me up.
Oh yeah,
sign me up, right? And that's what's frustrating. But at the end of the day, I think they come back here and get the job done. But it's just a real crappy price. I'll be on the over 6.5 team total, guys. For all of you out there that have been betting them with me, I'll be on that with this team to bounce back and get the win in strong fashion. I know Koo is great, but he's not pitching against his own team. He's only pitching against them. And what we're seeing on the other side isn't anything too special. So 11 pitchers on 11 innings this morning for the Lotte Giants. Had to remember that and have to think that, when I was handicapping the game yesterday, I'm at a coffee shop thinking to myself, Dave, if I lose this one, I'll be going back to them tomorrow for sure. And, you could easily have been betting on this team all year long and make some money. But the amount of pitchers that they use is it's crazy.
Well, at least nobody will be worn out. Because, it's not like anybody was out there for lengthy periods of time. And I'm sure that's what they're going to try and do in this game. Now, the one danger is that if they fall behind early, somebody might be out there to take one for the team, and the game could get out of hand.
Yeah. Somebody asked, is first to score too risky? I'd say so.
I don't even know what the price is.
It's just it's pretty heavily favored.
I'm sure it is.
To me, it's just one of those ones. Why not give yourself 9 innings to win?
Yeah, that's why bother with a first to score, especially since you've got the home team. I mean, what if the other team gets a run in the first inning? Somebody gets one out. Your bet's dead. To me, if you're playing first to score, you gotta be looking road team.
I will say though, in full transparency, I used to bet sometimes in the MLB first inning under.
Well, that's different. That's different. First inning. Mm-hmm. This is first to score.
Yeah.
I mean, you're giving the other team 3 free outs. Literally giving them 3 free outs.
Yeah.
Your bet can be over before you even get to the plate, right? I mean, it's not an option. I've never made a bet like that in my life.
So all of you guys that know me know I've been backing this Wyverns or this Lions team under and really SK under in a lot of their matchups. Now that they're playing each other, I cashed a ticket. It was 3% this morning with their under, and I'm going to go back to it, and I believe I'll go back to it on the first 5. Disappointed that number kind of changed a little bit from 5 to 4.5. But I'm not going to, somebody said in the chat box, and it's a funny phrase, but scared money don't make money, he says. And
that's true.
It's true because deja vu from this exact conversation last week. I'm talking to you, and I think you'll recall me saying this. I was like, Dave, I want this first 5 under, but it went to 4.5. I don't like it. Next day, it was 0-0 through 5. And then, so here's an opportunity here where I'm going to still take a look at it and grab that. Also with Kiwoom, guys, I like the first 5 innings on the money line. You're literally saving 20 cents, and I think the pitching edge is definitely there. So I love it, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. Dave Cokin's going to have some golf stuff. I'll have some golf stuff up as well. Make sure you grab his best bet at WagerTalk for $2. Just an outstanding run. Congratulations, Dave. Let's keep it rolling and have a great rest of the week. So for Dave Cokin, I'm Andrew McInnis. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the KBO Betting Show.